Senator Gillibrand's been busy lately. Today, calling on the federal government to speed up the process in tracking purchases of guns and ammo. This particularly geared towards large-scale purchases of firearms and ammunition. It was actually back in September where merchant category codes were approved to be implemented for gun retailers. Gillibrand says getting institutions to report these purchases is the priority, asking for guidelines for financial institutions, law enforcement, and retailers so they can report suspicious firearm purchases.
While no two instances of gun violence are the same, this is a common sense solution to an absurd and unnecessary problem. Implementing a merchant category code for gun stores is just one of the many tools at our disposal to stop the spread of gun violence, but it is a critical one, and countless lives of Americans depend on it.
This has been a major partisan topic. Republican leaders arguing the sales code for gun merchants infringe on gun owners' constitutional rights. These same merchant codes are used in businesses like grocery stores, tech companies, and furniture, and show up on the credit card statements.
Micron continues its efforts to help the Central New York community, but while the multi-billion-dollar project promises to bring in thousands of jobs to the area, some neighbors have concerns that this isn't as picture-perfect as it seems. Our Caitlin McCarthy reports.
Micron granted $500,000 to the Museum of Science and Technology in downtown Syracuse to help grow the exhibits while also adding something new.
And then the major, really exciting element that they're supporting is it'll be the first exhibit of its kind in the world on semiconductors, memory, and chips.
This wasn't the first sponsorship Micron has given since announcing they were coming to Central New York in October. Micron continues to build relationships by holding multiple town hall meetings, granting chip camps to the Liverpool Central School District, and even helping to name the baby twin elephants at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo.
I think it's going to be transformative for our community. What they're not only doing is letting people know that they're committed to this community, but they're also starting with our youngest people.
Despite Micron building countless relationships with the Central New York community, some neighbors have concerns about the chip manufacturer coming to Clay. One neighbor, Dan Troiano, enjoys living in a rural area and is concerned it will now become overpopulated.
That's why we moved here. I lived in the inner city for a long time, and it's fine there, but living in the country has its benefits too, and it's quiet here and it's dark at night, and I like that.
Thousands of people will be relocating to Central New York to work at Micron. The longtime Central New York native is worried about what his taxes will look like for years to come.
And so now everyone's excited to have their properties triple in value. Well, it also means a tripling of your property taxes. And if you don't like it, you can move, but where are you going to move to? Since there's a shortage of housing as there is.
Troiano says he would feel better about Micron coming to his backyard if the executive leaders were open to some of the working conditions that could pose any danger to the potential workers and what their plans are to keep them safe.
Good morning. I'm joined today by Lieutenant Malinowski with the Syracuse Police Department. Lieutenant Malinowski, thank you so much for joining me here this morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here as always.
So when is the right time to send out an Amber Alert? There has been some confusion recently about when it should and shouldn't be issued.
Yeah, great question. We were getting some social media messages. We had a couple missing persons recently, and they were under the age of 18. Some people were wondering why we wouldn't issue an Amber Alert. One of the things to remember is that an Amber Alert, one key component that typically has to be a part of it is there's an abduction element. So if we take a missing persons case and there's reports that the child was either abducted, taken away in a vehicle, something like that, that's when we issue an Amber Alert. We don't do it for every missing person case. If it's where the child has run away, went with another relative, staying at a friend's house, those don't always qualify. And again, Amber Alerts are for those extreme cases. So we wouldn't issue it every time, or there'd be an Amber Alert coming out every day when there's a missing child that's left home. So that's what people have to remember. There has to be an abduction element to get that Amber Alert, and you see it on all the signs, you get the notifications on your phone.
Definitely an important thing to remember. And also, we've been discussing porch pirates recently, but we've been seeing that maybe these porch pirates are going a step further. What are they doing now?
Yeah, so we talked about the porch pirates, still an issue. Again, remember the holiday season, you're going to be getting packages on your steps. Always good to see if you can get it delivered either at your work or with a relative. But we're even seeing now where they're coming up and taking those doorbell Ring cameras and just ripping them off. So make sure if you do install a camera, if it's not the doorbell one, but it's an actual camera, you try to put it up at least high enough away where someone can't take it down. Try to put it out of reach. That's what we're advising people to do.
And so this kind of relates to an instance that you saw over the weekend. What is your advice to the community to be able to make sure that they're staying safe and they may not be pursuing someone who might be dangerous?
Yeah, there was a little incident at the mall where someone had stole from the store. They chased the suspects into the parking garage, and one of the suspects ended up pulling out a gun and menacing the employees. So one of the things to remember, that especially say you get something stolen off your porch or something, say, stolen out of your garage, and you're deciding that you're going to confront the suspect, you have to really be careful of that, because these suspects carry, guns and knives, and they're threatening people with them. We always advise the safest thing to do: call 911, follow from a distance, and just get many descriptions as you can, whether it's the vehicle, what they're wearing, and you can stay on the phone with the police. But we really just advise people, you got to be very careful if you're going to try to apprehend a suspect on your own.
And then finally, the sheriff announced his command staff. How have relationships been going between SPD and the sheriff's office?
Oh, good. So I know that our bosses met with the new sheriff and his team. One good thing to know, we have great interagency cooperation. We use the helicopter often to do some operations here in the city. So we have a really good connection with them. So I don't anticipate that that's going to change. And the people of the county and the city of Syracuse should benefit from the continued partnership.
All righty. Well, Lieutenant Malinowski, thank you so much for joining me here this morning.